Warcraft Deep Dive a Go-Go. First up, news about the expansion itself. Cataclysm will be available for pre-order and early download, which means you can go ahead and put all the game data on your computer, and then when the servers go live, you can log on and start playing immediately. I asked Afrasiabi whether that meant people who wanted a physical copy of the game would have to buy 2 copies, and he said he wasn't sure. So stay tuned on that. Hopefully you can get both for the same price, because really, Blizzard can probably afford it. Should we be looking forward to sort of a similar release of patches this expansion in regards to like Lich King and things where there's pretty much like 3 major content patches rather than wrapped up in a big conclusion?
We're still kind of going back and forth over what our cycle's going to be. All I can tell you right now is there's at least one patch, at least one. And I think Corey and Scott talked about that yesterday at the Dungeons Raid panel, Firelands Raid and Abyssal Maw Dungeon. And then Hyjal Renewed would be the single-player portion. So we certainly want to put some patches in. I can't go into too much detail about how many patches, but at least one.
Next up, the new cinematic for the Worgen starting zone. Right now in the beta, there's a point where you officially switch over to being a Worgen during this last stand you make in the Gilneas Cathedral, and Blizzard debuted the cinematic for it at Blizzcon. It's atmospheric and awesome, and it really sets the tone for the second half of the starting zone, so check it out.
Is there even a shred of humanity left within you?
Also revealed for the first time was the Cataclysm login screen. You're probably sick of Syndragosa and her roaring at you all the goddamn time, so now you can have Deathwing just standing there and roaring at you. Awesome. I personally would have preferred the non-annoying side of the Maelstrom as my login screen, but sadly Blizzard doesn't pay me for my great ideas.
One of the big things we've done for this one is made sure that story is everywhere. Story is around you. It's in your space. It's in your face constantly. Whether you're in a level 10 zone or whether you're in a level 85 zone.
Okay, let's move on to a segment called Things We Learned at Blizzcon. This is going to go pretty fast, so just hold on to something bolted down to the floor and let's do this. First up, general information and story points. We'll see the Forsaken culture really come into its own this expansion.
And it's this weird thing, like Sylvanas, you gotta love her or you hate her, and it's just, if you're a Forsaken player, you love her for the most part. I don't think, like, if you're truly a Forsaken player, You have to love the Banshee Queen, and she's doing it for you.
The new old god of Cataclysm is called N'Zath, that's N'Zzzath, and he's probably the one cashing Deathwing's paychecks. At the time of Blizzcon, the Lich King had been killed roughly 490,000 times in-game. Blizzard is coming out with Moonkin hatchling pets for the pet store. The Emerald Dream and the Nightmare will appear in WoW when the time is right. The Alchemy Mount is a potion that turns you into a dragon and lets your friend ride on top of you. Get your mind out of the gutter. Blizzard is still working on creating a battle cry for the Alliance that's as good as but it's probably scientifically impossible. No plans yet to add more character slots for Altaholics, but Blizzard will sell you another 10 slots for $15 a month. Finally, there's a new Blood Elf group called the Reliquary, and there'll be a horde counter to the Dwarven Explorers League. Can you talk about some of the influences that went into Cataclysm specifically this go-around? I know there are some older things that have already been a part of the game, like the old gods and the sort of the Lovecraft mythos and things like that, but maybe some things people aren't expecting in Cataclysm?
I don't think people are going to expect the level of detail that we've put into crafting those stories, especially on the level up process. That was one of the things we really embraced for the level up process was we really wanted to make sure that as an Alliance player, my identity was very clear.
Okay, still with me? Class news, Master Blaster style. Shadow Priest Mastery will be tinkered with, but they're reluctant to change it wildly before people get used to the stat.
The Mastery is one of those things that we really want to make you feel like your particular spec is awesome in its own unique way. And so, for example, Shadow Priests have sort of been known for being those incredibly bursty casters. And in PvE, we want to capture that vibe. We want to capture that just sort of explosion of awesome.
Rogues can look forward to more fast offhand options to increase weapon choices, or even a change in rogue mechanics so you won't need a fast offhand weapon as much. Combat rogues are also getting their mastery skill quadrupled, so they'll be more viable against mutilate specs as well. Warriors, Inner Rage as a usable ability is still being tested. Blizzard wants it to be a good option for prot warriors to turn on and off. Mages, yes, Blink is still wonky, they keep trying to fix it, but it's just too powerful for mortals to toy with. And finally, Blizzard likes the diversity of the different racials and has no plans to normalize them, although existing racials may be adjusted. Find treasure, anyone? Boom! There's more class info out there, but I need to go lay down for a while, so if you have questions, just tweet them to me at twitter.com/MachinimaRealm, and I'll be your personal know-it-all.
I think Deathwing is the greatest threat Azeroth has ever seen. It's going to take a lot of effort to get that guy down, but the players will be at the head of that assault. But I think the players got it in them, and I think that we'll actually see something amazing.